Deck warpage. Use a straight edge and feeler gauges to see if warped. Use feeler gauge to see if any gap and how big the gap is. This is inside micrometer is used to measure the taper and availability of the ball. This is checking the taper and diameter. Use the spindle to hit the sidewall and lock the pin on top. The spindle shows you the finer measurements of the micrometer. The other ones represents the bigger ones. Set the dial gauge up so magnet has good surface. Make sure the dial gauge has movement so you can have some play, but set to 0. Make sure bolt down the sleeve so you can get the right reading for protrusion. Get an accurate reading. Move dial gauge across to get the right reading for head. This micrometer is used to measure general ends of the camshaft. The symbol that turns is the finer numbers of the one that stays still. Visually inspect these. If there's any cracks, bumps or bruises, and make sure you fix them. Set magnet up so got good surface. Set dial gauge to 0. Put in V block and roller cam to see if any movement. To read a caliber is the bottom row is in millimeters and the slide one is in 0.05. You slide back and forth to get what you want and then take the measurement, write it down. This is a general diameter. Use the calipers to measure the general diameter. Measuring the camshaft lift, you measure it this way first. Use the calipers to measure how hard it is. Second, you measure this one second. You measure that way instead of the other way, and you take the first one from this one. That will give you the camshaft lift. With the piston diameter and ovality, you need to take 4 different measurements. 2 90 degrees apart and 2 the other 90 degrees apart. You need to have 2 up the top and 2 down the bottom, but each 90 degrees apart too. When mounting the piston rings, it's important to offset the rings 90 degrees apart so they're not all in straight line. For the depth of the ring screws, use the end of the vernier gauge. Slide into place and then slide edge of vernier down till it hits and then read measurement. Set up dial gauge up so you've got good surface area. Set dial to 0. Get a crowbar, put it in engine block, move side to side and read what dial gauge said. Bearing retention is a visual expansion of it. You pull it out, put it back in. If it's sloppy, throw it out. You should have a bit overhanging in for perfect dimension. The bit which is overhanging, it will crash into it. How to squash plastic gauge and get the correct measurements. Put bracket over it and tension to the right tension. Then take back out. Be careful, keep the plastic in a line. Get measuring stick from plastic and see if it's in specs for oil. Make sure you wipe everything clean before reassembling it. Gear backlash, you need to use feeler gauges, just put them between the teeth and measure it. Gear and clearance, you need feelers, you need a straight edge, it should be overhanging the teeth from the housing. Use feelers to measure the gap. Geared side clearance need feelers again. You only just need to put the feelers down the side between the teeth and the housing to get your measurement. Face warpers, you use a straight edge and feelers to see if face warped. You set up your dial gauge so that you've got a good surface and so the dial gauge is on 0. Set it 0, make sure it's got a bit of play for it. Rotate until it has any major measurements change. To check your axle, you need to set up a dial gauge and do it to 0. Rotate your flywheel and check your dial gauge and get your correct measurement of it. Heat check is a visual to see if different colours come through that's caused by heat. Scoring is a visual to see if any marks come through because of scoring. Use the inch unit to drive lug alignment. Use a straight edge to see if it's straight. To measure engine oil temp, you will need this scan tool. Make sure all is plugged in right. Make sure ignition is on. If you are to run a car, make sure the extraction point is on. These are the steps you need to make to get to the oil temp part. First, enhanced scan. Second, Australia. third Ford, fourth Diagnostics, fifth Falcon, sixth BA, seventh Powertrain, eighth current data, ninth oil temp 70 degrees. To measure the cam bushings you need the telescoping gauges. Put the telescoping gauges, let them spring out so it touches the edge, and then lock it at the end. Pull out and measure your vernier calipers once again. Test light is used to see if power is getting to a certain point. You should mainly measure fuses and other electrical points like lights. You should not use this test light on any computer source at all because it may blow it up. Thanks for listening.